disclosing the benefits and potential issues of the Internet of Things and the impact of these on supply chain management. The first benefit is how the Internet of Things and its use in an organization provides business opportunities contributing to supply chain. This can be through vast growth, adding cohesive strategies which better supply chain, and installing advanced analytics allowing just-in-time to be implemented for supply chain improvement. The second point is how it improves overall efficiency and productivity through job satisfaction, as well as improved performance, which again contributes to the overall supply chain. Some methods used can be replacing time-consuming tasks with technologies such as automated PDF conversion software, faster Wi-Fi, and bigger bandwidth for staff. The third benefit of Internet of Things is cost reduction. Some businesses may inherit devices with sensors to help track any maintenance needed within a business. This will influence supply chains positively. One example being the technology allowing issues to be reported before affecting staff. The next benefit is how the Internet of Things can affect customer experience. Customers' needs are ever changing, so businesses need their supply chain to meet these needs. Businesses always want to interact with customers to gain first-hand knowledge of what they desire. This can be through phone calls, web chat bots, or apps dedicated to customers. 40% of consumers found it does not matter whether it was a real person or robot helping them, as long as they are getting the help they require. Made to order is a model which could be implemented for this. The final benefit displayed, but not the last, in the world of the Internet of Things, is the mobility and agility of such technologies. Many technologies, such as incorporating video calls, online workshops/meetings, allows employees to work from home or in fact any part of the world, which further improves supply chain management. It can be hard to keep efficiency high. However, it said 43% of organizations found such policies improved employees' output. Now let's move on to the issues involving IoTs. One being the impact of insufficient data protection. This can be due to weak password protection or non-regulated software updates, allowing data to be easily accessed. If data is leaked or inadequate, supply chain management will be hugely affected. Another issue with IoTs is the fact that the people either using them or installing them have very little knowledge of how to use them, so they can't be effectively used. Due to this, errors are caused and supply chain information can be outdated and incorrect.
I would now like to introduce the topic of big data and discuss what impact this has on the supply chain. First of all, I'd like to discuss what is big data. Big data is a high volume, high velocity, high variety information asset that demands cost-effective and innovative forms of information processing for enhanced insight and decision making. This was stated by Gamondi and Hyder in 2015. What does big data enable? Big data allows the analysts and researchers and business users to make better decisions and faster decisions using data that was previously inaccessible or unusable. It also allows businesses to gain new insights from previously untapped data sources independently or together with existing enterprises' data. In addition to this, market leaders have been storing and analyzing multi-data types not only can gain a competitive advantage, but also to achieve deeper insights into customers' behavior patterns that have a direct impact on their business. How is this so? Businesses can use advanced analytic techniques such as text analytics, machine learning, predictive analytics, data mining statistics, and natural language processing, all of which allow for big data to be achieved. I would now like to hand over to Ella to continue this topic.
Big data isn't exactly new. In 1663, John Grunt was credited with being the first person to use statistical data analysis in his study for the bubonic plague. It is commonly understood that Grunt was dealing with an overwhelming amount of information, which is why this technique changed the way we look at statistical data completely. In keeping with this development, in the early 1800s, the field of statistics expanded to include collecting and analysing data. While 1663 cannot be perceived as the conclusive introduction of what we know as big data today, it is crucial to understand that it is relative to the size of the data that the organisation or person is looking at, meaning this form of statistical analysis may have been used for smaller samples. As I have stated previously, big data has been developing throughout the last 400 years. However, one instance that is of accreditation to me: during World War II, the British invented a machine called Colossus, which scanned 5,000 characters a second. In doing so, it enabled the British to scan German messages to script to help win the war. Colossus was the first big data processor of its time.
Big data is taking over the IT world. Here are a few benefits and issues that I'd like to discuss regarding big data. The first benefit is cost reduction. Even a few decades ago, companies would come up with their own marketing strategies based on what they perceived to be in conjunction with their target audience's expectations and demands. As a result of the current business environment, companies must strategize and create multi-channel marketing campaigns to globally appeal to wider audiences. The most successful marketeers apply big data technologies to evaluate consumer behavior and make strategic business decisions without making mistakes costing them more capital. Furthermore, another benefit I'd like to discuss is improved transparency along the supply chain. Technology has improved supply chains greatly, but the introduction of big data-style technologies provide more ways to optimize supply chains. The pinnacle of this is being able to share information from multiple areas quickly and seamlessly, allowing for greater transparency across all points in the supply chain. With access to data in real time, operatives can quickly identify areas that could be slowing down the efficiency of the process, ensuring solutions can be found faster and more effectively. Thus meaning the amount of time that could be delayed is reduced and therefore not costing the business as many resources. Also, big data can provide a holistic gathering capability that can be tailored to a specific business's needs. The ease of having all this data on one convenient system can be the first step of cultivating a streamlined supply chain model. A final benefit is better informed procurement and forecasting for the business. Procurement is the backbone of any supply chain. Purchasing the wrong product or service can lead to a handful of problems. Big data can play a crucial role in informing procurement for both large-scale and small organizations. Traditionally, forecasting has been done through analyzing historical data. However, AI software, a form of big data, provides real-time data on buying trends that also consider other external factors that influence the consumer's behavior. The results are more up-to-date data that give accurate views on what spenders are doing now rather than what they were doing in the previous quarter of the year. For a supply chain, this real-time data can provide more clarity on specific buying behaviors, as well as allowing for greater flexibility to adapt procurement to suit the current demands with relevant data to back it up. A real-time example of this is the medical sector. Big data has allowed for better informed decision-making regarding procurement and other sectors. Advanced data analysis has led to significant information-based forms of health research that have led to significant discoveries in the development of new therapies and remarkable improvements in healthcare. This was stated by Paul Ohm in his paper, The Underwhelming Benefits of Big Data. I'd now like to discuss the negatives of big data. The first one I'd like to draw attention to is the accessibility of data. When concerning large amounts of data, storage and processing becomes more complicated. Such data should be stored and maintained properly to ensure it can be attained by less experienced data scientists and used to its full effect. In addition, with potential internal analytic skills and the high cost of hiring experienced data scientists along with engineers, some organizations are finding it hard to fill in the gaps that are being exposed by the complexity of big data. The final consequence I'd like to raise is data security. The complexity of big data systems present unique security challenges. Properly addressing security concerns within such a complicated big data ecosystem can be complex and undertaking and use much of the company's resources that should be being diverted elsewhere.
Marriott hotels are able to gain many competitive advantages from its use of big data analytics. The company uses data to track competitor brands and hotels, identify new revenue streams outside of rooms, and make sure that the satisfaction of both guests and people in the local community. Their strong appreciation for dynamic pricing has allowed the organisation to refer to local and global economic factors, events and weather reports, as well as daily average rates, cancellations, and reservation behaviour. By integrating and analysing all of this information, Marriott is able to predict customer behaviour and eventually adjust its pricing strategy accordingly. To put this into perspective, If on a rainy day in North America, consumers are more likely to be willing to spend a week of holiday in the Caribbean. The RO system will automatically adjust these rates. Due to this type of dynamic pricing, Star would have achieved a 5% increase in its revenue per room in just a year. The second main focus for Marriott's is to offer its customers the most seamless and comfortable experience possible. In order to achieve this, the chain has introduced a new digital technology to collect precise data on customer satisfaction and guest taste. With the use of facial recognition check-in, allowing guests to check in within less than a minute, thus skipping waiting lines at the desk. The hotel has also changed with Amazon to install virtual digital assistants in some of its properties. Such facilities will be equipped with Amazon Echo speakers, which will replace the routine tasks such as a concierge service.
To bring our presentation to a conclusion, technologies are important when it comes to an organisation's supply chain management. After looking into big data analysis, Internet and Things, and AI and machine learning, we can establish that they're all technologies used to help a business with their management. Real-life examples like HP Inc., Marriott Hotels, and Ocado show that our society can rely on multiple technologies to help provide and build their businesses.